Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Sarah, the White House press secretary, comes to her team with a real pickle. A scandal is about to go public, and she needs to be ready with a spin for the inevitable press conference. She sits down with her team and reveals the embarrassing news. The president has worn a superhero costume every day since last Halloween. Her team reviews their own information on the issues the public cares about, and one by one they pitch their best spin on the scandal. Our landfills are overflowing, says one member of the team. Should the president just throw out her Halloween costume? She's stopping the flooding of our landfills with these trendy costumes. Another takes a more serious approach, saying, the president is calling attention to the desperate need to address mental health issues, mainly his own. The last member of the team goes all in, saying it's not a costume. The president is actually Captain Vegetable, the hero we need to restore nutritional balance to our great nation. Obviously, Sarah picks Captain Vegetable as the best spin and prepares for her press conference.
Well, it sounds familiar to you guys? Well, it didn't to me either. Today, that is the story of how Department of Spin, a new game on Kickstarter, would go down. Today we were lucky enough to have Ali and Roku, I hope I didn't slaughter you guys' names, the creators and masterminds behind this great game on the podcast. Welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, Ali and Roku.
It's actually Mirko, but
Mirko.
As I say, it's in the go-to meeting. I don't know if you can see the attendee list, but he's got it written out there. That might make it easier to see it and write.
I see it when he talks. So yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, we have Ali and Mirko.
Mirko, that's right.
Mirko?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, we have the creators of a great game on Kickstarter, Department of Spin by Ali and Mirko. How do you guys fit into this game, and who is who, just so those people listening will know who is speaking when they're speaking?
Well, we're two of the three creators of Department of Spin. The third is a gentleman by the name of Mike Cullen, who unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening on the podcast. So there's, as far as how we fit in, all three of us are the creators of the game, working together on all aspects, from the design of the game itself and content, through to how the Kickstarter campaign has been run. So we're kind of equal partners in bringing this game into the real world.
Awesome. And so you all shared an equal part in it, I guess?
Absolutely.
Cool, awesome.
Yep.
So you guys have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell me about it?
Well, it's a fun party game. We call it a party game, but it kind of fits into those categories between sort of a social game and a storytelling and improvisation game. The theme of the game is that the players are members of kind of the press secretary's writer's room, so to speak, in a White House that is in a fictional universe. So it's not really real life politics. Players don't need to have any political or improv background to play it. The whole idea is that's just sort of a general theme that a lot of people find accessible, but the idea is that you're trying to find the positive side of various absurd, ridiculous scandals that are affecting this fictional White House. So these things come up every round. A judge will read the scandal card, and each of the other players in turn will try to come up with their best positive spin or distraction based on cards that are in their hands that cover sort of mundane issues that everybody tends to care about or know about, things like jobs and the environment and so forth. So trying to play off those things to create a connection to an absurd scandal and find the bright side of it. So it does result in just a lot of laughs and a lot of ridiculous storytelling and an improvised excuse making sometimes. And so the judge will then pick what they find to be the most interesting or the most funny or the most believable spin as the solution, so to speak, to the scandal that's been raised at the start of the round.
Cool, awesome. That sounds like a really fun game. Now, going back to I guess before the beginning of this game, how did you guys get into tabletop gaming?
Well, I guess I'll take that one. We started gaming. I think all of us started gaming as far back as we can remember. In terms of getting into tabletop, we as a group started gaming mostly on things like Dungeons and Dragons way back in high school. And then from that, we've branched into tabletop games, card games, board games, things like that. So it's been a long time, and it just keeps growing and building on top of that.
Cool beans. So this is quite different, or it looks quite different than Dungeons and Dragons. So was there a different inspiration behind it, or?
Yeah.
Well, we've played. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Mirko. Go ahead.
No, we've played. I mean, a number of different games. Name a type of game, we've probably played it. So not necessarily the game itself, but the type of game. I mean, so we played party games quite a bit. So things like Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens. What's the one from Cyanide to Happiness?
Joking Hazard, yeah.
Joking Hazard. So I mean, there's quite a bit of games, and it's a fun, accessible type of game where it's not hard to pick up. The rules are simple, but you can have a lot of fun doing it. So when we sat down and kind of started thinking of games, that's the kind of game that kind of popped up, and we just started laughing as soon as we started thinking of that idea. So naturally, the game itself just sort of evolved from that.
Cool beans. So in playtesting, was there ever anything that you guys had to throw out because it just wasn't going to work for Department of Spin?
Well, we did. So the basis of the game, since we had to write all these scandal cards, these absurd things that are happening in this fictional White House, and one of the things we had to do fairly early on was we had to go back to the cards we created, and there were things that had actually become true in real life that we had to get rid of from the game. So we tried to keep it with one of the defining sort of philosophies with the game is that it's kind of an escape from real life politics. Some people like to bring that in, but it's not necessary. So we didn't want the content to drive people back into that real world mindset. So we had cards that absurd scandals that were like we came up with back in March or whatever, April, thinking, okay, this is crazy, and then come July we saw similar headlines. We said, okay, we got to throw these things out to avoid people thinking we're just trying to make it a real life simulation.
Cool beans. So let's talk about the part of the game that you're most proud of. If you both want to take a shot at this one, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Mirko, you want to take that one first?
I don't know if it's a specific part of the game, but since the rules themselves are relatively simple, it's just the fact that we've made this game back in March, and we've played it countless times. I can't even begin to count exactly how many times we've played it since then, and to this day I still want to play it. And that feeling is just the amount of fun I have with the game itself and playing and just hearing what people come up with. I think that's probably the proudest thing for me.
Yeah, I would definitely second that it hasn't lost its appeal for us as the creators, but also other games that I've worked on. After 1,000 playthroughs, you're like, okay, I still like the game, but I really don't want to bring it to the table again. With Department of Spin, every time we go to do a game night, every time we're doing a test of it, anything we're doing, it's fun to play. We really enjoy it. But I'd say the thing I'm most proud of with this is that, like Mirko had mentioned, we played all sorts of different games, like Cards Against Humanity and all sorts of others. They're like party games where you turn in a card and you let fate, decide, or the judge kind of just picks, and that's that. There may be some table talk, but you don't get to argue for it. And so for me, it was just the realization we started playing it that this was really a game, like, speaking personally, that I wanted to play it, and then Mirko and Mike were in the same boat, that it was something they genuinely enjoy playing. A game where you actually get to fill in the gap between your card and the judge's card, so to speak, or the scandal. You get to tell your story. You get to bring your creativity and your outlook and all those things, your perspective, to make that connection, which just enables some amazing moments in terms of people making connections you'd never imagine possible. You get to really see the kind of thought process your friends have, but really get an idea of just, you're wowed by the creativity of people, especially strangers, when you're sitting down to play at a con or something, and people would come up and be like, oh, I don't know if improv's my thing necessarily, and then they sit down and they just come up with the most amazing thing off the cuff. And so I guess that's part two of what I'm proud of with this, is just the level of accessibility, where we sat down with people who are anywhere from, almost, I wouldn't say professional pundits necessarily, but people who are really politically plugged in, or people who are like, do a lot of amateur improv, all the way to people who have nothing to do with those things, people who tend to play, people who aren't necessarily extroverts and things like that. And across the board, we see people just with amazing levels of creativity. And so it's just so awesome to see a game that we've made that's able to inspire that kind of creativity and that kind of expression from so many different players.
Cool, Beans. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Just looking at some of these cards on here, like some of the different scandals that happen. Let's see, the president consults a psychic before making a telephone psychic before making a decision. That he goes out sick and has his Debbie from accounting covering for him, or that everybody in the White House is clones of Abraham Lincoln. That just sounds awesome. So let's say we were sitting down to play a game. How would the play look? Well, I mean, how would it sound? Because we're on a podcast and they can't see us playing. How would that sound, or how does the play work for it?
Well, the play, basically everyone sits around a table or stands, so they're able to hear each other, and one person is chosen to be the first judge, so to speak, and that person will read the scandal that's at the top of the deck. The other people in the group will all have a number of issue cards. Each card will have a single issue, real world issues, so things like things to do with economy or jobs or the environment or foreign relations or anything like that, just like a real world issue of sort. So everyone has five of those cards in their hand, and in order, everyone takes their turn to come up with a reason why that scandal is actually a good thing and how it positively affects one of these real world issues. And then once everyone has their chance to give their pitch, the judge decides which person or which pitch they liked best based off of basically any criteria they can come up with. So some people like the funniest ones, some people like the most logical ones. So it really depends on the judge. And then the person that wins that round gets the card as a point, and then the next person in line becomes the judge. So everyone will get a chance to be that judge and also to pitch their ideas.
Cool beans. And I guess whoever has the best idea according to the judge wins, or is it a democracy? Whoever has the best idea for everybody around the table, or how does that work?
It's basically whoever the judge picks is the winner. We were playing around with an idea of an alternate rule set where there would be a democracy and there wouldn't be a judge, but as far as the base rules, it is essentially the person that judges, they choose the winner of that round.
Cool. Now, without being, I know we don't probably want to give out too many spoilers or whatnot, but do you guys each have a favorite scandal from the game?
I think we do, but Ali, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's weird to pick your favorite kid, right? So you try to avoid doing that. I think for me, there's a few of them. I guess my personal favorite actually is probably it's probably one of the ones that gets the most oddball responses. There's one in the game where basically the president has appointed the family dog as the head of the CIA and tasks him with finding out, quote, who's a good boy. Which the dog lovers that play the game just immediately, they just start going, oh, who's a good boy? Like they just love to play off of that. And then, of course, they turn around and find these absurd spins for it. So it's a weird one because it's not necessarily scandalous right off the cuff, but it's a great jumping off point for people just to play in their own sort of, I guess for lack of a better word, like dog memes, so to speak. Like they come up with their own ridiculous pitches around it. So that one to me is just, I've got a lot of good memories of seeing that one hit the table.
Cool.
Yeah, like Ali said, it's really tough to pick a single one. But for whatever reason, one of the ones that really makes me chuckle every time is the White House is a transforming robotic spaceship. That one always makes me laugh.
And actually, I gotta
Cool.
throw one in on Mike's behalf because it's one of probably the favorite ones from the game, which is one that he wrote, which is that the president has decided to pardon Satan, stating that, quote, he's a great guy in person. That one always gets a rise out of the crowd, and I think that's would probably be one of his favorites if I had to guess what he would say to that question.
Cool beans. So let's see here. Would you mind taking each other's scenario and a issue and saying how it would go down? Like, Ali, if you wouldn't mind going over I think it was the White House as a giant robotic or something, or an alien robotic. Is that what you said?
Giant transforming robotic spaceship, or transforming robotic spaceship, I guess is the exact phrasing on it. Yeah, I don't have the card in front of me.
What if you had vegetables? What would you do with that, Ali? If vegetable was a card you used, I saw vegetables.
Vegetables. Oh, you're just giving me the hardest time here. Well, okay, so I guess if we're going into character here, so the beauty of this is this isn't at all a scandal. In fact, it's a wonderful thing that we have such an amazing technological asset at our disposal. We have this transforming robotic spaceship, because here's the deal, people. As you all know, labor is expensive. We need to harvest vegetables in larger and larger quantities to bring the nutritional value to our people, what they need. And there's just not enough hands to pick all those carrots. Now think about a giant robotic hand that can descend practically from space and just sweep up all those vegetables in the harvest and get those things straight to our table so that we can get our fiber intake that we desperately need. That's what the White House is doing for us now as a transforming robotic spaceship.
There you go. Cool. And let's see here. And what about yours? Let's see here. So, and what if you had Ali's? What would you do if, let's say here, it was, and he said the one about, refresh me. What did you say your favorite one was out? Oh, the dog being the CIA?
Yeah.
What about cheap labor? How would you play with that one?
Oh, that's an easy one. Well, the president has seen how the Secret Service is just sucking up all of this money, and there's really not a whole lot of good that they're showing for it. And in an effort to really alleviate some of these financial woes that the Secret Service is facing, why not just hire a dog? All that they'll eat they'll work for treats, they'll probably do a better job, and they will definitely figure out who is a good boy.
There you go. And then I don't know if you, all the cards I have to look at are the ones that you have on the Kickstarter page. Do you want me to go ahead and take, I wouldn't mind trying to play my hand at it. I can take Mike's favorite and you guys can give me an issue. It doesn't have to be one of the issues on the table. I'd probably maybe prefer if it wasn't, if that works.
Sure, I can give you one if you want to.
You have to remind me what his favorite part was, though, his favorite card, and then I'll go from there.
It was the president has decided to pardon Satan, saying, quote, he is a great guy in person. So he's pardoning Satan because apparently he's a great guy in person. And if you want to do a spin-off of, let's say, the issue is coal miners.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I guess you're getting me back, huh?
Okay, that vegetable one wasn't easy.
Okay, well, great. Let's see here. So, yeah, and by pardoning him and letting him come to Earth, he's really going to be able to help the coal miners, as they'll be able to do more work, as he'll be able to take people. Actually, he'll be able to take a lot of his people he'll pardon all the people that he's got down there in hell with him, and they'll be able to come and do the coal mining for a lot cheaper and whatnot. And since they've already passed on, we won't have to worry about all the them getting injured and all that fun stuff, and people being trapped in the mines. And it'll free up people to do a lot of other labor that we need here in America, and then we won't have to outsource so many jobs, I guess.
There you go. Can't get black lung if you don't have lungs.
There you go. Good call. Good call. And I was going to say with yours, with the dog thing, they could get them from the shelter, and that might be a little bit cheaper, maybe.
Definitely.
Even cheaper still.
Yeah, even cheaper. Not only do they only eat for food, they work for food, but you can just get them for free too.
There you go. There you go. So let's say hopefully nobody has, but say somebody's fallen asleep and missed most of the podcast, and they wake up just in time so they don't hit that semi on the road. Why should somebody take a chance on this game hopefully we've woken them up. And why should they take a chance on this game on Kickstarter, especially with all the other games that they have out there on Kickstarter?
Well, Department of Spin it's a unique kind of party game in that it's a highly accessible. It's something that I would say virtually anyone can play and enjoy. But more to the point, you get to bring yourself to the table, your personality and your creativity. You're not limited just to the cards in your hand. Most of the players have commented after a couple of rounds, there's no bad cards in the game. They're never sitting there with a card going, or with a hand going, oh, there's nothing I can do here. They're just looking for, how can they make those connections themselves. So really accessible game, and yet it provides a challenge of really stretching your creativity to as far as you want to go. So it's a great way to, and for us as the creators and for all the people we've played with, that's probably been the biggest thing, is that you're not just playing cards. You're not just moving pieces of paper around the table. You're using them as a jumping off point to give the speech you've always wanted to give, or the persuasion, or just pull something crazy out of your butt that nobody would ever understand out of the context of the game, but here everyone's having a laugh listening to you give that great speech. And then for some people, it's just it's interesting for them because they're able to kind of play the other side, so to speak, that even if they don't have a particular political position or a particular outlook on an issue, they're able to try to inhabit that for a little while and just come up with something crazy and absurd just to see what it would be like. So really kind of a unique experience as far as party games and games in general go, where the table talk is built into the game. It's part of the process, and it gives you that opportunity to be as just creative and crazy as you want to be.
Cool beans. Yeah, and I don't really care for party games, but this one, wow, it looks awesome. And so yeah, I'd be willing to go ahead and take it down. So that yeah, that's just awesome, and all the different issues or whatnot, and to go along with the scandals, I think it's cool. So let's see. So it looks like there are different versions that they can get. They can like do a print and play, and also get the game in actual cards. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. And I'm not sure, Mirko, if you want to jump in on that with any comments. Got some thoughts as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same game, really. It's just different ways of getting it. The print and play, of course, is a relatively simple way of getting the game. You get essentially PDF files that you can then print out on your own. And while it's really cheap, it does mean that you kind of have to do a lot of the work for on your own. You have to do to print them out, and you have to cut them, and then if you want to, you can sleeve them or make them somehow usable. So that's definitely a way to go about it. And the other way, of course, is to actually get a physical copy of the game, which means that you'll actually get a box with all the cards already printed professionally, and so it's a matter of preference, really.
Yeah, it looks like that the actual cards. It looks like, according to what's going on the Kickstarter currently, it looks like that might be a little bit more popular at current time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was kind of the philosophy with how we set up the Kickstarter. Was we want as many people as possible to get access to this game. And that's why it was important for us to have a print and play, of course, which I know isn't unique to us, but you'll notice that like everything, and one of the things, hopefully we get to the point where we're able to unlock some stretch goals and reveal those where there's lots of cards that we can add to the game. And of course, as we raise more funds, that drives our costs down, and we don't just want to hold that money. We want to pass that on to the backers in some way. So we're looking at we have a lot of cards lined up that we can add in there. So as we go to higher volumes of print per game goes down in costs. Therefore, we're able to add more to it, to everybody's copies. So basically, everybody gets the game. Basically, if you're doing a print and play, or you're doing the base game, you're getting those extra cards. So rather than having lots of bells and whistles, we try to stay focused on the game, because that's the most important thing here, is the game and the experience people have with it. So as they go up the reward levels, there's of course the custom cards, which, as you said, have been really popular. I think people really want to get engaged with this and come up with their own cards that they can add personally, but just focusing really on the game and not trying to distract from it with sorts of random swag and stuff. Really making it about putting out the best game we can, and as Mirko said, on the highest quality materials, and really getting that out in the world.
No, that's awesome. So that's great. Let's see here. So yeah, so that's awesome. So let's see here. Is this comparable to any games out there, or not really? I haven't heard of anything similar.
The
There's some.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Go
man.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, the things that people have come to us when we first explain the game to them, they'll say, "Oh, it's like Cards Against Humanity, but I get to argue." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the ways I explain it." And then they sit down and play it, and then they see around and like, "Okay, I can see that there's a little bit of like Snake Oil is another game where you're trying to sell, you're trying to put a couple cards together and sell an imaginary product." Some people kind of said, "Oh, this kind of reminds me a little bit of a game called Fun. I think it's Fun Employed, not Fun Employed or Fun Employment." I'd have to look real quick to see. I can't remember which way it's what exactly it's called, but it's one of the two. But then after they play a few rounds, they're like, well, the free form nature of this game makes it very unique because they're not hemmed in by a specific type of play or a specific structure that some of those other games have. So on the initial look at Department of Spin, people kind of draw those comparisons, and they're definitely, I mean, obviously there's a genre of party game there in terms of kind of reacting to a judging card with your own. But people seem to really like the free-form nature of the storytelling that they can do. So that's what they've told us, is like they can see some similarities there, but it stands apart for them in that way, of that free-form storytelling and creativity.
Well, that's good. And now, I know you guys don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but so say somebody backs this game, when would they anticipate getting the game, do you think?
We're shooting. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You start.
Okay. Well, we're kind of going for this on playing it safe on a January 2018. That's what we've got listed on the delivery date or the deliver by on the Kickstarter rewards. Realistically speaking, we could see that in 2017, so in December, perhaps end of November. But it really depends on, obviously on the number of backers that we have, so the number of units we need to print. That's the main thing that kind of drives that for us at this point. We've already talked to printers, we've got quotes lined up, and we know most likely who we're going to go with, but it does depend on the ultimate backer volume and everything. So if we get funded and we're able to, depending on the number of backers, we're most likely looking at kind of January as our safe bet, because we, as you said, we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. Quite the opposite. We want to kind of underpromise, overdeliver. So we're going for that safe January, but our goal, post-campaign is to get that shipped over here from the printer and shipped to our backers as quickly as possible. So we're shooting for before the end of the year, but we're saying January out there to be safe about it.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like you can have your own scandals and solve them with the different issues, and it looks like if you go ahead and jump over on the Kickstarter, and we'll make sure we leave links on this about it, but it looks like it ends the 1st of October. Is that correct?
That's right. October 1st is the last day of the campaign. The morning of.
Yeah,
so I think we wrap up about 9:45 Pacific a.m. on October 1st.
Yeah, that's what it says here. So yeah, so if you're driving right now or whatnot, make sure you pull off to the side of the road. We don't want to cause accidents, otherwise you'll never be able to solve all these scandals on your own. But yeah, so pull off to the side of the road and click the link, and we'll go ahead. You can go ahead and back this great game. At the time of this recording, it had about 3 weeks to go. So and hopefully we'll get this up sometime next week, because it just seems like an awesome game. So yeah, make sure you pull off to the side of the road so you can go ahead and back it. Now, minus coming to your hometowns and stalking you personally, how would these people go about finding you guys?
Well, for for me, Ali, I guess the best way you can use Twitter. I use @StrifeCards, StrifeCards is the Twitter handle that I use, and Strife Games on Facebook. So Facebook or fb.com/StrifeGames probably be the best way. You can always email me, of course, as well at strifecards@gmail.com. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Strife Games everywhere, so I had to use the Strife Cards on Twitter, and of course the website is strifecards.com. So that's the best way to reach me.
Cool, man. So, and how would we go about getting a hold of you? Let's see here. Yeah, I'm very bad with names. Mirko.
Oh, well, I mean, Strife Cards is probably the best way to get a hold of any of us. So if you do want to email us or tweet at us or Facebook, Strife Cards is the best way to go about doing that.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. So, yeah, so we'll go ahead and make sure we leave all of that in the show notes, definitely. And do you guys have anything in the hopper? So once this funds, will there be other things, expansions or other games similar?
We have I don't even know how many ideas. We have tons of different ideas for expansions. A lot of things lined up in terms of making this game bigger, making it into different eras, and so to speak. It's just we're bursting with a lot of ideas, but we had to kind of sideline a lot of them because we need to get this game done first. And as soon as this is done, we'll expand upon it and make other games as well as this one as big as we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we really need your help to go ahead and back Department of Spin. And if you're listening to the show, and I doubt you're not familiar with Kickstarter, but say you are and you haven't ever backed anything, this would be a great one to take a chance on. And keep in mind that nothing will be charged to your card until it funds on the 1st of October. So that's another thing to keep in mind, especially because that's probably around payday, I would think, for a lot of people, maybe somewhere around there. So yeah, and then they can make great other great ideas and add to the game. So yeah, it was really great having you guys on, Mirko and Ali. We really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you having us.
Okay, a little disclosure on this one. For some reason, had some audio issues where it wouldn't let me edit because the track was locked. Just so you know, well, Department of Spin is about to finish up. If you can, go fund it on the Kickstarter. Go back it on the Kickstarter, and it looks like a really fun game. If they don't make it this time, I really hope they relaunch this one. I really liked it. I loved interviewing with them, and I hope their game does good. I would really like to see it in stores and be able to play it. Well, now on to Kickstarter Corner. Well, I know Princess Leaf did most of them, but we wanted to tell you about one final one that has been since added. It's Angelblood Publishing presents the tabletop RPG we all want. After 13 long years, Angelblood, the tabletop RPG, is ready to be unleashed to the masses. It's time for everyone to be a game changer. Now let's see here. Just to tell you a little bit about this, it looks pretty fun. It's a limited edition. It's a book they're going to create for you, and it's on the Kickstarters right now, so go back them. And they've actually not doing too shabby. They changed their goal. Well, no, they didn't change their goal, but $925 out of 5,000. So when you hear this, it will be probably about 41 days left. Well, I hope to get this episode up for you in the morning, in the AM. But I don't know, with the change of not being able to edit it, that makes it for a little bit of a trouble. But we'll see what we can do for you, because we want you all to continue to get geeky with Game Relief. Once again, if you missed yesterday's episode, go check it out. I had a great, or Monday's episode. Yesterday's episode. Had a great interview with Seth Hyatt from Mayday Games about Rooster Rush. And that is a really fun one. I just backed it, in fact, and you can too, for $10 or $15 and get a great game. And you all have a great one. We'll catch you on the flip side. Back to Princess Leaf. Thank you, Princess Leaf.
Hello, Kickstarter Corner! So today we're going to be talking about a few games. So first I'm going to do a knock-knock joke. Knock, knock. You say, who's there? Well, you can't right now. Who's there? You are. You are who? You are a rooster. You're a rooster crossing the road. Ha, ha, ha. Do you like to at that episode? So, we did one stage just barely. So, I hope you listen and tune in next week for a fun and exciting episode. So, we're going to first talk about some jokes. So, first, knock, knock. Who's there? Rooster. Rooster who? Rooster, I love you. Okay, so Why did the chicken cross the road? 'Cause the car was coming and he had to run. So, that was funny. So, Rooster Rush, Dexterly Game, Anti-Bazooka, and the Speedy Deluxely, particularly 3 to 6 players try to cross the road in a mad dash. $3,120 pledged out of 3,000, so they're past their goal. Good job. 193 backers and 14 days to go, so back this project, even though it won't do anything, but give them more money. So, and then it's reached its goal by Sunday, October 8th, 2017, first 1:19 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Oh, before we forget, I'm going to thank our Patreon. So first of all, we live in Texas, so let's go. Game Relief is creating the best family gaming podcast starring kids. So if you're a kid and you have a dream, share it with us. Share what kind of game it is. If you have a game. I have a game. I would like to make it into... I would love to... let's see. I gotta find the Patreons. Okay, so we have and Axel, Ethan Ireland, Jennifer Longworth. She edits some of our podcasts. So thank you, Jennifer Longworth, and all of you. You give us $1 each. So that's, let's see, that's $5. And we have Ronald Gagan and Dane somebody at everythingboardgames.com. It's an awesome website, so go check them out. Sorry about doing the Patreon so early. Next, we have a Western game. Sounds so fun. I'm sorry about talking in Western. I just can't I keep thinking about how my dad is Southern, talks in Southern. The game is the card game. A tabletop card game that explores the Old West and sees each player trying to become the best outlaw by collecting. Okay, so let's get back to it. Sorry about the delay, but yeah, you know how it is. 1,360 pledged out of 10,000, 20 backers, and 54 days to go. So back this project, back all of them. It will reach its goal. It will be funded if it reaches its goal by Thursday, November 16th, 2017, 10:19 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So please back it up and give $1, get $1. You're not actually doing that though. But yeah, totally. So the mind-blowing survival game, Scrooge, the board game. It's a really fun game. Scrooge, the board game by Simon Gehring. The survival board game for families and fun-loving adults. Can you out-Scrooge Scrooge? Can you? Knock, knock. I'm going to do another knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock. Who's there? Scrooge. Scrooge who? Scrooge, can you out-Scrooge Scrooge? I don't know. Can I? Right in the show. Right down in our YouTube channel. Have you been living in the UK? I hear that. One of my favorite countries, England, is in the UK. My friend used to live in the UK. So, yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So, oops. So, Arcade Fighter. Kind of like Street Fighter, except arcade. Arcade Fighter, tabletop tag team fighting. A 2 to 6 player strategic game that takes tag team fighting to the tabletop. They have 851 pledged out of 5,800, which is their goal. They have 20 backers and 11 days to go, so hopefully they do it. This ends on Thursday, October 5th, 2017, 7:15 a.m., 7 o'clock with 14 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So in Utah, Swords and Cells. Oh yeah, free shipping to US and UK. Oh yeah. Oh, knock knock. Who's there? Swords. Swords who? Sword you with cells. Ha! That's so funny. Do you all have friendly shipping? I'm sorry about you guys who don't have friendly shipping. Maybe all you do. Swords and Cells rewrite history in 180. Swords and Cells is an epic conquest and dramachy game about leading your armies and fleeing through the medieval Egypt in 108. I'm back. Sorry about that. So anyway, yeah! Woo, 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 woo. Okay, let's get back to our business. So if we have any more business, we still have a bunch. So I'm so sorry, but we're still talking about Swords and Cells. They have 7,735 out of 30,000, which is their goal. They have 82 backers and 20 days to go. Oh, it reaches its goal by Friday, October 13, 2017, 10 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. No! Do you believe in the curses in the 13th? I do. Now, we're going to be talking about Robert's Offspring, the Cold Clash War, a role-playing game setting for the Savage Wars and system based on Robert's the Cold Clash War. They have $1,090 pledged of 5,000 goal, which is their goal. They have 46 backers and 11 days to go. So back this project, really back it. It ends on Thursday, October 5th, 2017, 8 o'clock a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I'm so sorry. So next, we only have 3 more left. So Ancient Artifacts. A roll and write game for 2 to 4 players. Battle humid jungles, deep oceans, burning deserts, doom raiders, and even other archaeologists in the search of artifacts and glory. This is related to Indiana Jones and VeggieTales. Starring VeggieTales, Larry and the Magic Hairbrush. We have it on DVD, so watch it. So let's see. They have raised 8,161 out of 11,000. That's really far. Okay, they have 323 backers and 7 days to go, so please back them. It's gonna be, I don't know if they're gonna relaunch or something. It goes by Saturday, September 30th, 2017, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So let's get rid of that one. Sorry. We only have 2 more. We have Cheese Quest. Don't mind that. It's Batleaf. The Quest for Cheese. by Phil Sakura. Cheese Quest, a tabletop game of tactics and be crafty and fast. You'll split your time between progress and as you race to return 2 cheeses to the nest. So Dad actually interviewed the guy. They have $7,095 pledged out of $12,000, which is their goal. They have 120 backers and 18 days to go. It reaches its goal. It will only be funded if it reaches its goal by Thursday, October 12th, 2017, 6:47 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So please back this project. We hope you like it. Then, last but least, this got back Dawn of the Archmage, a miniatures game. 2 to 4 player game of miniatures, mages, and monsters. Battle with monsters and gladiatory combat to the right to be an Archmage. They have $17,285 pledged of $60,000, which their goal. They have 187 backers and they have 18 days to go. And it will reach its goal by Wednesday, October 11th, 2017, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We love you. We're now signing off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hope you had a perfect Friday. A fun Friday. So we are now signing off. We will be gone. We are leaving to our beach house. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bye.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.